Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about Ethereum since it's been making some strong moves and it's been kind of overtaking Bitcoin just a little bit in here. And then we're going to touch on XRP. We're going to touch on Bitcoin and then quickly on the S&P 500. Then we had a little bit of a shake today, but the market recovered pretty well. And it almost looks like yesterday outside day in the S&P didn't have a lot of influence on the overall market. So we'll see what happens there. But first things first, Ethereum, it's acting pretty well. This is a weekly time frame. I've done, if you want to see a video on Ethereum, the road to 10,000, and you can kind of check that out. Kind of how I see that happening. However, I think we're in a middle of an impulse, and eventually we will move towards a wave one top in here. And this basically the way this happens is, we have this impulse off the low, and then we're labeling this as a wave one. And that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're having a nice wave 2 setback here in purple that pulls about 38.2%, and now we're in the next sequence higher. So same kind of standard wave count where we're looking for a wave 3 to reach about 6,900. And if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you could kind of go towards 100% equality with this wave 1, which comes in about 43.95. So I would say that this would be the first target, which is just a little bit higher versus the highs back at the end of 2024. And we'll see kind of what happens from there. I think the sequence inside here, it's still developing. You can have like a wave 1 and 2, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. There's going to be some interior labeling that happening in here. I don't really care about any of that. My eyes are on 4,400 and eventually 6,900. So we'll see kind of how this goes. You can, a very simple way to kind of follow this along is to put up a channel on a wave 2, and then what we do is you project that from the top of the wave 1. Usually that's kind of how it goes, and then that would give you more of a target for a wave 3. But wave 3 is basically it can penetrate the channel, then the channel changes a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, another thing would be that if this is an old big flat, that actually wave 1 completed back here, and have a hard time kind of believing that, because I don't see this internal sequence kind of being complete, and that would allow you to kind of move the channel upwards like that and give it more room. And this, you could do this in some kind of an A, up in B and down in C, or WXY, something like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I think even if without kind of putting this channel and going back to kind of the main levels we've had with the fibs right there at about 100%, I think that this is where where this market kind of wants to go, towards 4,400. So that's on Ethereum, and then eventually you will get a top on this, or is it my wave 1 in here? It's a bit out of the way right there. It's too much. So we'll see what happens, right? That could be, it's a lot of speculation here. So, I don't know if that's going to be 10,000 Ethereum by the time, it reaches the top of the wave 1. I mean, remains to be seen. But, that's kind of what I'm looking. And the signal to go long was basically on the break of this high back there. So now let me take a look at kind of what's going on in XRP, which continues to move. Like, we talked about this guy, being strong and moving, somewhere in towards 5 first, and then eventually towards 7. And these are a confluence of zones where we have the targets. So we're trading 306, so it continues to have strength, because you're basically in the middle of the large wave 3, right? So you have a series of 1s and 2s, and they continue to be developed here. And the fact that we've crossed the top of this X wave, that's definitely super interesting. So I'm focusing on on further highs in XRP, and even back here above that high as well, about 336, or maybe the one that's to the left of it a little bit. So that looks continues to look pretty good. I have no beef with the XRP whatsoever, so let it do its thing. And then Bitcoin, this continues, and I was talking yesterday about the 38.6 retracement. For this wave 4. See if I can get back to it, and I'm gonna zoom this in, and that's exactly what we reacted. Just a little bit below that. I think we've gone maybe a little bit into the 50%, but that looks good. That's what you want to see. So if this is a fourth wave low, now the next move should be above this high, above that 123, and create some kind of a fifth wave, which we will look into it once those levels get reached. Let's see once again, what's that odd 3 level for the blue, comes in at about 124 for the 161.8. It's very, very close because these wave 2 are very close to each other, so that comes very close. Hopefully we can get it to go all the way up to about 137. So let's see how that goes. So this is Bitcoin as well. I continue to remain focused even on this 165 later on. And now I'm going to close off with taking a look at kind of what's going on in the S&P 500, where look, looking at my distribution chart, yesterday was indeed a distribution day because we lost quite a bit there. I mean, 40 basis points, but it was a pretty good volume. Today's volume was also quite impressive, very close to yesterday's, and we had a pretty good reversal. So there was a little bit of a scare here as the day was kind of unfolding when Trump announced that he was going to fire Powell, or there was a rumor about it, or what have you. We all know, how crazy these things can get. I mean, it literally came to the lows from, back here July 7th, and then recovered most of that move. With today's move, it looks like, let me go on my dailies in here. With today's move off the 20-day moving average, that was support, and with the kind of a bullish hammer forming, my eyes are now on more upside. I mean, it's just what it is. Like, they try to create some kind of an outside day and try to sell it. If they're not going to do it today or maybe even tomorrow, like, when are they going to do it? So, and the moment you break above it, things start to look bullish again. So that's kind of my take. A lot of stocks continue to be very strong. They're very resilient, and I continue to kind of keep my positions. What I've done today, I've actually went long Tesla. So remember yesterday I was short Tesla. I wanted to close in the overnight session last night. I didn't. I said I'm going to leave it in the morning. In the morning it did not continue, and it pulled up. So I closed off on a retest of this levels. I got out of there, and then I waited a little bit, and I'm seeing this continuous strength in Tesla, and I'm seeing basically now, a left shoulder, a right shoulder, a base in here with a nice neckline and the break, and I'm like, I gotta get involved because this has a tendency now to continue to go. So I'm going to be long Tesla. I'm not always short. I play both sides of the market, so we'll see what happens in here. Maybe I get my my loss. If this thing starts to kind of come back and close, I would probably say for kind of get back below these levels and close below there, I'll probably be out of there. But this looks kind of encouraging. I continue to I'm long again IWM, so I like this as a nice ABC. So initiated a position long, and this guy I'm going to add on a break above those levels. I'm still long Kava. ANAT looks pretty good still. Coupang with the break yesterday, it's holding nice and tight. Palo Alto, it's recovered quite a bit, but it's not doing nothing too wrongly. I would say CDNS doesn't excite me that much, and then Amazon in here, and Circle. I'm out of Circle. Circle was that move above these levels told me, like, get out of there, that's no bueno. So yep, I'm those are my positions for right now, and we'll continue to go. Bye. Thanks.